Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Mark. We're in Mark chapter 5. Today we start reading in verse 24. Now recall that Jairus, who is a synagogue ruler, has come to Jesus with an urgent request. My little daughter is sick. She's dying. Please come. I know you can heal her so that she can live. So Jesus is on his way to the home of Jairus. But on the way, there's another woman in the crowd. There's a large crowd around Jesus, as always. But she also has a desperate need. And so she comes up with a plan. She's afraid to come to Jesus directly, but she has a plan. Let's notice what happens. So Jesus went with him, that is, went with Jairus. A large crowd was following. They were pressing around him. There was a woman there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors. She spent everything she had, but instead of getting better, she only got worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and she touched his cloak. She thought, if I just touch his clothing, I will be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped. She felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. But Jesus realized that power had gone out from him, so he turned around, looking at the crowd, and said, "Who touched my clothing?" The disciples said, "You see people crowding against you, and yet you asked who touched you?" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. And then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet. She was trembling with fear. She told him the whole truth. And Jesus says, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace, be freed from your suffering." Now you might ask the question, why was the woman afraid to come to Jesus and ask for help, as Jairus had done? Because of her condition. It says she was subject to bleeding, had been for 12 years. We don't know exactly what her condition was, but we do know that in this day and time, the bleeding would make her ritually unclean, thus unable to go to the temple to worship, unable to go into religious areas. The bleeding was not a sin, don't misunderstand me, but it made her ritually or ceremonially unclean. And that she would remain that way until she was healed or cured or the bleeding stopped, but it had not. Also, if she touched anyone, even bumped up against someone, that made them, for a brief period of time, also ritually unclean. So most people would not like her around because her uncleanness could infect them, making them ritually unclean for a limited amount of time. That's why she was afraid to approach Jesus. He might not want to have anything to do with her, she thought. And certainly she knew the crowd would not want her coming up. So she thought to herself, I need to do it secretly. If I can sort of sneak up behind him. Now she had great faith. She knew that she could be healed by Jesus. But because of her ritual uncleanness, because of her ceremonial uncleanness, she was afraid to come to him directly. So she thought, I'll just kind of sneak up from behind. If I just touch his clothing, I'll be healed. And that's what happened. As the crowd is pressing around, she gets up into the crowd and she kind of reaches out and just touches his clothing. And she immediately feels that she's healed. She knows she is healed. God has done a wondrous thing for her. Jesus turns and asks, "Who touched my clothing?" The disciples are thinking, "Lord, what do you mean? Everybody's here. The crowd's jostling you." "No," Jesus said, "someone reached out to touch me." The woman knew she was discovered. She came and confessed all. And she heard those great words, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. You believed. Go in peace. You are free." Once again, we see the authority of Jesus over disease. She has been healed completely just by reaching out to Jesus. He's on the way to attend to a little girl who is dying, and on the way another woman is healed because she reaches out to Jesus. Oh yes, he is the Son of God. If you just reach out to him in faith, if you just reach out to him, you'll know his power to heal, as this woman did. And she heard those wonderful words, "Daughter, your faith has healed you." It's because you believed that this healing has come, because you trusted in me, because you had faith in me. This has happened. Go in peace. Go in peace. you are set free. Oh, our Lord sets his people free from those things which diminish their life and hold them bondage. For 12 years, she had been ritually and ceremonially unclean. And now, by the power of Jesus, she's free. Now, the story continues, though. Jesus still has this little girl. And so he continues on to the house of Jairus to attend to her. And in tomorrow's session, we'll look at what happens when he reaches the house. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Mark.